Divorce Day Diaries, day 178. It's a hot Saturday, so after loading everyone into the car and popping down to McDonald's and getting myself a nice latte, we're popping over to Chamberlain's Ford, which is this campground just outside of town. Technically, the whole camping aspect is actually closed this time of year, so there's no campers, but that's fine. You can still enter the property and pop on down to the river. So made sure to pack some towels for everyone. All the kids have togs on under their clothes. Pack some sunscreen. And of course, kids get into a slump after being here for a little while. So I bring some snacks. And in this case, I just brought the entire Kai box because that way they can have their pick and choose. And as you can see, the campsite is pretty much right next door to the river. But it is still a bit of a walk, so, make sure to get your kids to carry the heavy stuff for you. So, spread the labour around, many hands and all that. But we got here, it was around about 10 a.m. in the morning, and at this time of the morning, you don't get that full-on heat just yet, so it's not overwhelming. And at the same time, there's barely anyone here, which means we pretty much got the whole place to ourselves. Although I have to admit that I wasn't really on my dad game today. I actually forgot hats for everyone. The only kid who has a hat is my youngest one, who put it on of his own accord. So kudos to him, I suppose. But given we could pick and choose where we wanted to, set camp more or less, I made sure to pick a nice and shady spot just across a stretch of water that we can all walk across so we could all sit in the shade. There are both shallow bits and deep bits, so for my older kids who like to actually get into the water, they can jump into the deep parts, while my younger kids can play around in the shallows and, have leaf races and flower races, which is always a bit of fun. My youngest daughter often shadows me and doesn't really like going into the water without me, so we found some other fun things to do, like we did some I had this app called Merlin. You can sit down and you can listen to the bird calls, and it helps you identify the bird, so that was a bit of fun. And then she asked me to take this picture as well. She said it's a lovely picture of nature. She has an eye for this sort of thing, apparently. I did ask her if she wanted to get in the picture, but then she told me that the views of nature are better without people in them, and I'd be inclined to agree if I wasn't self-aware enough to know that I was the person in nature. So, yeah. Anyway, but my favourite thing to do down at the river is actually to skip rocks. This is something that I actually picked up from my dad. He taught me how to do it originally. And of course, the first step is to find rocks, which I know sounds kind of obvious, but the idea is that you want the right kind of rocks. And it takes a bit of practice to be able to find the right ones, because you need big flat ones, and they also can't be too light either. The idea being more surface area, so when they hit the top of the water, they skip instead of just sinking. And then, of course, there's a bit of knack to throwing them as well. I tend to just kind of rest them on my middle finger and then hook my index finger around them and then get as low as possible, as close to the surface of the water, so that when I throw them, I'm throwing them forward, not down into the water. So when they reach the water, they'll bounce. It's really hard to explain, and I had a really hard time capturing it on camera as well. So, yeah, maybe I'll bring my tripod next time. And then on the way out, I spotted this group of lads bringing, almost an entire lounge suite with them, which, honestly, props to them. Great idea. Probably would have done the same at their age, but afterwards, naturally, we have to go get some food. So we popped over to AJ's Fish and Chips here in Rolleston, where I just grabbed the Pack 2 family pack, which comes with, 3 fish and 2 hot dogs, and that's a bit risky, but I figured the kids could, fight between them over who gets what. And then popping over just pretty much next door to New World to grab some other essential fish and chip supplies. And all this is because even though I'd packed snacks for the kids and made them have breakfast before I went to the river, I had entirely forgot to have breakfast myself. So by the time we left at 12:30, I was absolutely famished. And I honestly thought these were some top-notch fish and chips. I don't know if it's just because I was starving, but they were just the right amount of soggy and salty. And then, perfect for chucking in a piece of bread with a bit of tomato sauce, which is my favourite way to have fish and chips. And we ended up with a whole piece of fish left over, which I smashed back as well. And, that was a very typical fish and chip fish. Really. Never compares to the fresh stuff, but it's fine. And of course, we had these 2 donuts left over, which I split between the kids. The heat is just radiating. I can feel it coming in. Tonight is movie night. It's my pick tonight. I didn't buy any movie snacks because we've still got that kilo bag of milk bottle lollies that we got on the holidays, so we'll just have some more of those. In October, we do what I call Spooky Month, where we watch Halloween movies, which could be a mild horror movie, or mostly is just Halloween style movies, things like Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town. I've chosen Scooby-Doo, to watch tonight, the live action one from like 2002, because I loved that movie as a kid. I'm hoping my kids love it too, and I will catch you on the flip side.